Okay, today we're going to have a look at P or paragraph writing. It's certainly something that I find my students from Year 7 the whole way up to Year 12 can always be working on. Having a good paragraph structure and a good writing technique is crucial in conveying your ideas and your thoughts on the topic that you're being examined on. Let's start firstly. What is PEAL? What is PEAL? PEAL is an acronym. It's a simple acronym. There's plenty of different acronyms that you can use when you're thinking about structuring a paragraph. This is just one that I use, and it's the one that I use generally the whole way through. So there's some uniformity for my students when I've had them from Year 7 the whole way through to their senior years. Look, the next thing to say why use it, I always find that it gives students a method of making sure that they're answering a question in a very systematic way. It allows them to answer the question in a way that doesn't take them off the topic, provides examples and explains the whole way through. Alright, if we break down the acronym, what does it actually stand for? So this little diagram I found I quite liked, except for the fact that it probably starts in the wrong spot. But number one, we have the point, or what I would like to start by saying is the topic sentence. A really strong topic sentence that is going to set up what your paragraph is talking about. It should cover everything that is going to be explained in that paragraph, that one central theme. The second part, the E, is to explain. This is where you're going to explain that main idea. And depending on what the directive verb in the question is asking you to do, you're going to have to explain it or analyse it or evaluate or discuss. Then providing an example. These can be examples, statistics, case studies, sample studies. They could be direct quotes, really depending on what topic you're looking at and what discipline you're writing in. The example is gonna vary. What you'll see in my example paragraph is that the explanation in the example can often be integrated. That you may have an explanation of the topic and then within that have examples. The last thing is a link, really important part to do, and most students tend to forget it, and it's where you link back, you establish to the marker that yes, you have answered the question, that you've been on topic, and therefore that you're showing that. I'm going to give you a small example of a topic that I've done with my Year 7 class before, and it's used only as an example. So this is for the global environments when we look at mountains and communities, and I gave this as an example to my students to identify a community that interacts with the global environment of mountains to describe the traditional interrelationship of the environment and the community. So there are two parts to the question. There's the first part and then the second part. I've said there what it is to identify is to recognise a name and to describe. So they're those directive verbs, and you really need to be careful to understand what they are. I've got my little acronym here, and that's going to keep us focused. I want us to keep just to try and remember what the question is, because I'm going to show you how I went about writing it. But firstly, to identify a community, so to recognise and name a community. And as you can see at the top, I'm going to be talking about the Sherpa people. And if you're aware, I'm going to be talking about the Sherpa people of Nepal. And then describing and providing characteristics of their traditional way of life. So let's have a look at it. So here's my topic sentence, or my point. I've highlighted in red, and you'll see why when we get to the end. The Sherpa people, so I've identified here, actually I'll do that in black. The Sherpa people of the Himalaya, so I've identified and located where, specifically in Nepal, interact with the global environment of mountains. Traditionally, the interrelationship has consisted of agriculture, trading goods and living in a sustainable manner. So you can see if you break that in, I've actually got two topic sentences there, and that's because there were two parts of the question. So there's the first part, and here's the second part. Two topic sentences, it's going to cover everything that I'm going to go through. What I always say to my students is one of the best things you can do with your topic sentence is just to reword the question. If you reword the question, you're going to provide yourself a strong topic sentence. Okay, you can see here I've got a combination of green and purple, and that's because I've integrated my explanation and my example, which is what I was saying before. So the Sherpa people have lived in Nepal for thousands of years. As a result, they have adapted to the mountain landscape. Compared to the non-mountain living Nepalese, they have larger lung capacity, smaller in stature, have more blood oxygen capacity traditionally. So here is a bit of that first part of the question. This is sort of identifying still. And remember, then there's that other part of the question, which was to discuss their traditional part. So that's then here. Traditionally, the Sherpa people have traded in wool, salt, cotton, food, vegetable, rice, potatoes, tea. Traditionally, they traded with Tibetans of the Himalayan plateau. Sherpa people also manage the landscape sustainably by only cutting down timber required. This allows for forests to regrow. So you can see here I've got explanation in the green, and all the stuff in purple I've highlighted are examples. So my explanation was in green, and my purple here are my examples. My last sentence: the Sherpa people of Nepal have lived in the Himalayan mountains for thousands of years. They have developed a traditional interrelationship and a simple way of living in order to survive sustainably in the mountains. You'll be able to sort of recall, I've basically just reworded the question again. It links back, it tells the market, it tells the person that's reading this that I have answered the question. And what you'll be able to see now is that when the whole thing is put together, that my topic sentence is in red, my explanation example in purple, and then my link in yellow. If I look here and I highlight it this way, as a student, you should be able to highlight your work and then evaluate it and reflect on it. And if there was any part that was, say, if there wasn't as much purple, so you might read and go, oh, there's not enough purple, I need more example. Or you might realise that your explanation may only be a sentence. I find that this highlighting of your paragraph can be a really good technique in being able to regulate and reflect on how well you've gone about answering a certain question. So some final points. I guess that this is used for both short answer and extended response. With a short answer, it's generally just going to be one paragraph, and with an extended response, it'll be multiple. But if you use that acronym the whole way through an extended response and make sure that each paragraph has a topic sentence that has one central idea that you then explain and provide examples of, and then your linking sentence would link back to the overall question, I think you'll find that if you start to continue and you start writing in this manner, that you'll see an improvement in your results and of your understanding of the topic. Okay, I hope this helps you out.